Well, Jim, you and I are both big fans of Omaha steaks, and of course, we like a good steak, a good burger, a good hot dog, all the things they have.
I like a good wiener.
Well, on the topic of food that you eat, as opposed to all the other food.
To all the other foodstuffs that you just look at.
Recently, there's been a guy in the news, and I read this in the New York Post maybe 2 months ago. Have you been following this guy? I have the article here.
I haven't been following any guy. I don't know who you're trying to accuse here.
There's an article here about this guy. The headline is, I eat animal liver and bone marrow. Here's what I look like after 30 years. And it's a guy, the self-proclaimed liver king. His name's Brian Johnson. As ripped as any human being you have ever seen. And he eats raw animal organs. And he says that what he had said was that alone, over such a long period of time, had caused him to become what Hercules Hernandez wished he could have been.
Okay, I don't believe that. They're also, without exercise, just eating the raw organs of the various animals, the duck-billed platypuses and the ocelots and whatever.
Well, I don't know about those animals, but it says here, one of the captions for a photo of this jacked man says, the social media influencer lives on a diet of protein shakes, eggs, and beef liver.
Oh, can you imagine what his
raw beef
farts
liver
must smell like? Protein shakes, raw liver, and what the fuck?
Eggs.
Eggs. Oh, well, of course. Hard-boiled, apparently.
What are your thoughts in general on raw food, whether it be sushi or whether it be actual raw intestines or organs of animals?
Okay, well, I didn't think at once, being a Southern boy and always going to a good fish fry, I didn't think I would like sushi, but I have warmed up to, I'm not going all the way with the heads and the eyeballs, anything looking at me. I don't like tentacles or fucking things that have suction cups on them or whatever, but some regular, nice, good quality sushi I can go for. But I think everything mostly has to be cooked in some respect past that, don't you? What are we going to eat? I mean, raw vegetables, you could eat that. I don't know if I'd recommend eating a raw potato or a raw fucking, I don't like hard broccoli.
Well, Jim, I've just sent you a link. It should be arriving in your email momentarily. So you can see what this man looks like, but also what he says he was eating, because he says it's from an ancestral living diet that includes raw animal liver.
Aha!
I've sent you a link and you should have it.
I have it right here. It's Liver King. Let me just click on this bad boy from the New York Post. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. There's no way. This guy's got an 8-pack of abs. He looks like he's 270. It's fucking, the vein on his arm alone looks like a fucking garden snake. And there he is chewing on raw, bloody meat. Ancestral living is what he preaches.
Now let's go with the idea that he was claiming this. Do you think if it worked, if eating raw animal organs gave you a look like that, would more people actually do it?
Well, I don't. He's gone too far here. Most people probably wouldn't want to look like this, because then you're attracting a lot of attention. I don't know. I think if he just maybe ate raw meat for 15 years instead of 30, he's gone too far. He also takes freezing cold ice baths, and when he goes fishing, he catches fish with just his teeth.
Wouldn't you want to do that?
No, I'm not going to stick my face in a fucking pond and just try to chomp down on a goddamn trout.
He looks a little like Tommaso Ciampa, doesn't he?
He does. He has the Tommaso beard that Tommaso used to have. But I don't think Tommaso's never been this ripped.
No, he's like a lean Liver King. He definitely all of a sudden has a different physique. But let's go back to Liver King
Well, he's
here.
got a picture of this guy when he was a teenager. He looks like he's one of the boys. That's before he started eating all the raw cow balls and shit.
So I saw this in the New York Post and it started getting a ton of attention. All of a sudden that the Liver King, I don't know why they were promoting it. He's a social media influencer. I don't know what exactly they were promoting, but they were promoting him and his lifestyle. And then last week I saw an article in the New York Post. Liver King ripped after leaked email claims $11,000 a month steroid use.
Now that I believe.
You've dealt with a lot of wrestlers. What's the biggest monthly steroid allowance you know of?
Oh, good. I never asked for a retail price. And of course, when I was close enough to people who had been doing that thing, it'd been 30 years ago or whatever the fuck. So I have no idea but that sounds quite excessive even for modern day prices on just something for personal use. Doesn't it you?
The father of two, this is from the New York Post, an article by Emily Lafoy. Is that how you say it?
Lafoy?
Lefroy, excuse me.
Capital L, small a, capital F. All right.
The father of two has been posting to Instagram since August 2021, amassing over 1.7 million followers, and swearing that his intense workouts and eating as a modern caveman, in quotes, are the secret to how he's achieved and maintained his ripped body.
I have this article now because I clicked on the link on the other article and I'm seeing this now. Who has posted videos showing him chowing down on raw animal liver, protein shakes, egg yolks, and bone marrow, claims his body is 100% natural. Bullshit. I don't care whether he's been on a steady diet of Rambler's road apples and Rocky Mountain oysters. He's also been on a diet of, as Phil Hickerson said, shooting them steroids in his booty.
Let me stop for a second because there's more to the story, obviously. Do you think there should be a stigma on steroid use so that this guy who's spending $11,000 a month apparently would be ashamed of it? Should that stigma be there?
Well, with what we now know that, I mean, the thing they were originally invented and original and supposed application of them was to help people recover from injuries and grow muscle or repair muscle or whatever. But like anything else, if you just do them nonstop and do them only for bodybuilding and don't do them for any therapeutic reason, then they do damage to tendons, ligaments, etc., blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to sit here and litigate, the steroid scandals of the last 30 years. They do increase athletic ability, which is why if that's the whole bone of contention, it's not a fair playing field when somebody's on them and somebody's not, and they're expected to do the same things or compete under the same, parameters. But, I mean, this is ridiculous. Besides, how old is this fucking guy? Where is his age listed in here? 45 years old. He's going to have a fucking heart attack. He looks like you said, Hercules Hernandez, if Hercules had really gotten out of control with the steroids. Imagine that. He's going to have a heart attack or a stroke or whatever the fuck. What is his reason to look like this? He's not a pro wrestler. If you're going to talk people into fucking eating goddamn raw bull's bladders, then you wouldn't have to look this good to fucking do it. There shouldn't be a stigma like, oh, you should go to jail because you're fucking hurting yourself unless you're, making somebody else take them. But there should be like, what the fuck's the matter with you? And I mean, that's with most of the boys too. When they get this Brian Cage, he'll fucking explode when he's 40 probably. And it didn't make him a good wrestler. He just looks like a fucking inflated clown. So, I guess if you want to, ruin your health, do whatever you do, and you're not even getting I understand when the boys have to get bigger or get more cut or whatever because they're on television. And if, okay, I'm going to make X million dollars or X amount of dollars for 3 to 5 years. I'm young. I'll take a shot at it. But this fucking guy, yeah.
If you aren't a professional wrestler, and there's still the stigma there, and we could talk about whether or not there should be for professional wrestling. If you're not a professional wrestler or a football player, and I guess I'm not even counting growth hormone. If I was, I got to count basketball players and everything else. If you're not an athlete or in a movie, is there any reason for the average person to be on steroids?
Yeah, because, well, the people that really get hung up on bodybuilding and be fanatical about it. Remember, we've talked about Sid. Sid used to have a body image issue where if he hadn't worked out for 2 weeks, he didn't want to take his t-shirt off. Look at fucking Sid. But they don't see the same thing. I think Vince had a bit of that. You hear stories where they see themselves in the mirror and they look spectacularly in shape to 99.9% of the world, but they think that somehow they look horrible, and so they do more of this shit. And that's, I don't see any reason why that just to be big, if you weren't a public figure, just have a great body, that you would fucking ingest fucking monkey hormones.
You think people get hooked on the idea of having, again, from nothing to 1.7 million social media followers? To a lot of people, that seems to be a big deal. Now, I'm not saying it isn't a big deal in terms of social media, but just it's a big deal to amass that, like, personally. Like, look what I did.
Well, I'm trying to do it the opposite. I started out with about 1.5 million, and I'm trying to run them all off. I get that's, yeah, okay, that's a thing. I'll figure out a way to eat raw animals and shoot chemicals into my body that will potentially kill me before my time, but a lot of people will follow me on Twitter.
Well, Jim, there's a happy ending to the story.
Really?
The Liver King.
Who's he jacking off?
Well, this is from, once again, the New York Post, now by Lee Brown. He's working the Liver King beat. Liver King is now eating raw humble pie. Here's a quote. "I fully own that I fucked up. I lied," the shirtless influencer said in a video, finally admitting that his stomach-churning diet of raw liver and testicles was...
He's eating the testicles? He's really eating the balls.
I guess so. I didn't see that in the headline of the previous one. Was not the secret to his eye-popping physique. Quote, "Yes, I've done steroids. And yes, I'm on steroids." He admitted late Thursday, days after his 11,000 a month habit was exposed. "I'm making this video to apologize because I fucked up," the primal living fraud, real name Brian Johnson, said in his mea culpa.
Primal living fraud.
"Because I'm embarrassed and ashamed, because I lied and I misled a lot of people. I have only myself to blame. I did that, and it was all wrong," he said, vowing to be better. What do you think? I mean, the idea that he immediately, after everyone said, "Hey, what an asshole," said, "I'm sorry."
As soon as everybody found out it was true, he immediately admitted to it. Well, that's an honorable thing, and he's going to get off the balls, right? Is that what we're hearing? He's declaring himself ball-free from now on, not going to keep eating the balls?
Well, that's actually the only part, I guess, that really we don't have any clarity on, which is he's admitting now that he was on steroids. Is he saying I was on steroids and I actually wasn't eating all that shit? Or is he saying I'm on steroids and I also do
and balls?
Well, I was going to say liver. I'm also doing this extreme caveman eating. You went right to the balls.
I think he's admitted that he not only was on steroids, but that he was eating the balls.
Would you eat an animal's testicles if you were told that it's cooked in a delicious way and you're going to love it and you won't even know it's balls?
What do you think a Rocky Mountain oyster is?
I don't know because I haven't eaten it.
Back in my day, some of the finer steakhouses, especially out in the western part of the United States, actually had a dish, mountain oysters. They were balls. And some people like the balls. I never wanted to even test the balls. So I ain't ever ate no balls. I ain't ate no balls, no balls, no balls, and nobody ate my balls.
Well, this Liver King story ties into professional wrestling suddenly.
Oh boy.